Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, To Be Happy, You Must Be on Your Own. What do I mean by that? It doesn't mean you have to go in a cave and hide from the world. That has nothing to do with that. You're always in the company of something, always, and that is your mind, your thoughts. You're always in the company of them, you see? And in order to be happy, you have to learn to be on your own, meaning without the distractions of the interpretations of thoughts. That's what I'm pointing to. If you really want to be happy and experience happiness, all you have to do, if I want to use that word, is don't identify with anything you're thinking. Put it to the test. Test me on this one. To be happy, you just have to not believe anything you think. So simple, so obvious. Why it seems so difficult? I've said this over and over again, and again, the information is not going to change. Because as long as there's a sense of identity, this is who I am, I need thoughts to support that. How do you know that you are who you think you are? Because a thought says so. I am a man. I am a woman. I am good. I am bad. I am tall. I am thin. I am successful. I am a failure. I am good enough. I am worthy. I am. All those things apply to the original thought, which is what I refer to as the original sin or the fall, the thought I am an individual. That's what I think I am. So I need all the thoughts to keep holding on to that sense of identity. And I wonder, why can I not be happy? Well, because thoughts constantly change, and believing the thoughts that I want to believe, it keeps supporting the sense of identity, and then when one of those things or thoughts or whatever changes, then my sense of identity goes with it, and I find myself experiencing the consequences of that. But what if you simply are, right now, you just are. Don't identify with any thought. That is what I mean being on your own. That's it. You are on your own always when you don't have the company of all the other thoughts that you're believing in. Now, I didn't say the thoughts will not be there. They will be there. Sometimes there's a lot of thoughts coming up, and sometimes there are few of them. Doesn't matter, makes no difference, because you're on your own. You're resting in beingness while thoughts appear. They appear and they disappear, because you're not even the one that chooses them. But you seem to be the one who, once the thought appears, believe in them, interpret them. And the moment you do that, you bought the hook. You see? Right now, are you not being? But you see, if you think I'm talking to you as a person, person to person, you're missing the mark, because that's the mind. See? I'm simply pointing to the obvious. The obvious is right now, you cannot negate existence. You cannot negate the fact that you are. You cannot say you're not. See, this is how simple this is. Therefore, I am. And because I am, I'm on my own. And then a thought appears. I am this person. Now I have company. You see? And now, this person that I am, I don't like. That's company. Or this person I am, I like. That seems like a better company. Still company. You see? So you're not on your own. And therefore, in the company of all the thoughts, meaning all the judgments, you find yourself reacting to it, and then your present experience, which is eternal, seems to shift. I feel good, I feel bad. You know, I feel this way or I don't feel that way. But again, that is because of the company. But what if I simply am? Well, in the I amness, there'll be experiences, there'll be pleasure and pain, but by not being judged, there's no suffering. All this is just pure experiencing, that's all. Direct experience. That's what I mean by being on your own. You see? Let's put it to the test. This is not esoteric. This is not theoretical. This is not something that it will happen in the future. This is life itself right now, being. So don't identify with any thoughts and what is left. Don't answer. If you answer me, you went back into the mind. I'm just simply pointing to the obvious. Oh my God. Yeah, it actually is. Yeah. This is it. You see? And now you rest in peace. See, you don't have to wait until the body dies to put it on a tombstone. You're resting in peace because you're on your own. While you're in the company of people. You see? But if you're not identified with the thoughts, with the judgment, with anything, then you are in the midst of this seeming experience but not affected by it. So you are on your own even when in the world of appearances you may be surrounded by family, friends, acquaintances, whatever, strangers, it doesn't matter. That's the invitation here, to be on your own. To not let the mind somehow dictate or translate your present experience. It'll be used for practical reasons, practical purposes, but it's not going to affect you psychologically. For practical purpose, mind is not right now formulating words in a language that you can understand. This is part of functioning in life, but that doesn't affect anything at all. But whatever interpretation I make of what is happening, that is what seems to have an effect on me. Why? Because I am in the company of all these thoughts, in all this interpretation. But if I do not believe any of them, I am on my own. And then from the being on my own, notice that how life unfolds. Because life is unfolding anyway. It's not me who's making it unfold. I'm not me the one choosing to breathe. I'm not the one choosing to have the heartbeat or to live. I'm not choosing life. Life chooses me. When life decides this is no longer going to be, well, believe me, there's nothing I can do about it. There's no medicine, there's no doctor, nothing will make this body breathe or work when life decides this is it. But you see, if that scares you, it's because you're identified with a thought, with company that says you're a body. But if you know that you're alive, not you as a person, but just a knowing, and it's common sense, come on, think about it. Are you the one trying to breathe? Are you really the one making the decision to breathe? Are you making the decision to function, all the trillions of functioning that is happening within the world or the body itself? Let's talk about this particular experience. The cells, replacing one with the other one, the liver functioning, the blood's going through the stream, Are we the one doing that? Really? Were you the one who chose to awaken this morning? Did you really at some point says, okay, now I am done sleeping, I am going to wake up? Or waking up just happened? You see? All this is happening on its own. You're not even choosing your thoughts. Tell me, what is the next thought you're going to have? You see how much evidence there is to know that I am not in charge of anything, and yet the mind somehow finds a way to convince itself that it is in charge of itself. See, I'm not in charge of anything. Life happens. And if I don't identify with the thoughts, I am on my own. And that's why I'm happy. You see? The invitation with these videos is not to become something. It's not to, in the future, be happy. It's to recognize the happiness in which you right now are resting in. Right now you're happy. You may not know it because you have company. I'm not talking company again as friends or people that doesn't make you happy. No, nobody can make you or doesn't make you happy. If you're in the company of your thoughts, that is what seems to make you unhappy. But if you don't believe your thought, you realize that you are happy always. Even when there is pain. Pain can be there. That doesn't affect your happiness. Because the company is not interpreting it. Without the company, being on your own, pain could be there. A medical diagnosis could be there. A bankruptcy could be there. A breakup of a relationship could be there. All the things could be there, but because you're not listening to the company, you're on your own, everything is simply what is. Life happens, but you are. This is what we're pointing to here. And that's how you can experience the happiness which is permanent, which is your natural beingness, the peace that you are, peace that passes all understanding no matter what. Why? Because you're not listening to the company. That's all. Because you're on your own. And that's going to be the invitation in these videos. To be on your own. Not alone. Because alone is for who? Who would be the one being alone? It's for the person. You are. So you cannot be alone nor in company. You simply are. The thoughts are the ones who tells you you're alone or you need company. But presence doesn't need anything because presence simply is, and you are presence. You are. You see? So let's practice right now what it's like to be alone, or alone, no, on your own. Or see? So you can have the direct experience right now. Don't identify with any thoughts. I didn't say the thoughts will not be there. They will be there. That's what they do. Let them be. Just simply look. Don't judge. Simply look. Don't let the mind interpret it or translate any of what is happening right now. Don't let that happen. I mean, don't allow it to happen as if you had that choice either, because you're really not the doer. However, within the seeming experience that we're living, it appears as if you could make the choice of not identify with the mind, so play along. That's all. Because otherwise the mind is going to go into another story over there. Well, if I cannot choose, then what's the point? Well, what's the point of me making this video? Well, guess what? None. It's just what happens. And if this what happens, or seems to be happening, to be more accurate, it appears as if you may have a choice to not identify with the mind. So just play along, and that's it. Like Ramesh Balsekar used to say, act as if you have free will, even though when you know you don't have it. That's all. It's no big deal. I don't have any issue with that paradox. So, right now, if you don't identify with the mind, with any interpretation, even with the interpretation that says, I'm afraid of being alone, it doesn't matter. That's a thought. Don't identify with any thought. Just let them be. Like the Beatles used to say, let it be. God, what a profound song if you really, really listen to it. Okay? What you experience when you're not identified with the content of the mind is peace. You see? It's tranquility. It's a sense of release. Relief. You see? That's the direct experience, always, when you're not identified with the content of the mind, meaning when you're on your own. That's the invitation. And now when you're in your family and having dinner, or you see people talking about all sorts of stuff, you seem to be on your own, even while you are in the company of them, because you're not in judgment mode, you're simply in observing mode. And you just watch. And you see how people talk, say things, And you're so happy with your own company that sometimes you may find yourself saying, I don't want to hang out with these people anymore. Not because you're judging them, you're not better than them, it's because there's no resonance anymore. But you're not afraid of they don't want to, or being rejected. You're no longer afraid, because if you're afraid of being rejected, that is a thought that is telling you could be rejected based on the thought, I'm a separate individual. When you know who you are, there's no fear of being rejected, because you can never be rejected. By whom? By what? You can only be rejected by your own thoughts, by the company. You see? If the company that says you are rejected is not there, then you're on your own. And then you can pull away and say, well, I no longer want to be here. It doesn't serve me. But again, without any judgment, because that'll be a thought, the arrogance says, oh, I'm better than, so I'm not going to hang out here. No. I'm not better than anybody. I'm not better than the beggar, street beggar, or the president, or the owner of a company, or the millionaire, or the poor, I'm no different than any of them, because we are the same energy. We are the same source. We're the same. Thoughts is what makes believe that I'm different than them. You see? In other words, the company is what makes believe that I'm different than them. When I'm on my own, without the company, or without listening to the company, I don't see them as different than me. I see them as an extension of me. Not an extension of me as a person, an extension of me as wholeness. And I'm not here to judge why they are doing what they're doing. That is that's the journey they have to travel, because that is the perfect curriculum for them to maybe come to a place when realize, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. I want truth, meaning I want to leave the company so that I can experience the treasure that I am, which is hidden underneath, that I could not see it because it was covered by the company, by the thoughts that says, this is who I am, and I am more than, or better than, or worse than, I am not enough, or I am great, or whatever the case may be. In other words, I am a separate entity. That is just company. When you're on your own, then they begin to look at each other like, we're the same. There's no difference. You see? You can perceive differences, but there is none. Because all that there is what is. You see? Without the company, you're on your own. When you're on your own, you're happy. You're at peace. And that's the invitation. So you can recognize the happiness and the peace that you are right now, right this moment. There's nothing to do, just simply be. Well, this is what came through this instrument. I hope it served, and as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.